the one-on-one matchups for these retired NBA players has been crazy. We just seen Lance Stephenson and Michael Beasley play. They have been, doing like the boxing, almost like the type promos, the wrestling type promos, which really hyped it up. And I was hella anticipating that game. I thought the game was going to be a lot closer than it was. I wasn't expecting Mike Beasley to just give Lance Stephenson the business the way that he did. Now, I know that Beasley been a beast, you know what I'm saying? Like, he came into the league, I mean, shit, he got drafted #2 right after Derrick Rose. I mean, he was, definitely revered as being like one of the dopest players coming into the league that year when he came in. Unfortunately, his career just never panned out the way, that like a basketball fan like myself who knew how dope he was, wished that it would have actually panned out for him. I think like he's one of them players where like Michael Beasley is like your favorite NBA player's favorite NBA player. You know what I'm saying? Like, despite like his aggression, his attitude on the court, which like may rub a lot of people the wrong way, like people know that, bro really got that work. Like, he can really hoop. But then Lance Stephenson, he was a cat who was known for, like having that work. I believe whatever city he from, I believe that like held a record for like most points like in a game or something like that. Or like I know he's got some crazy records like where he from or whatever. So, like a lot of people, they'll even tell you about Lance, like you got to put respect on his name. But bruh, when Lance and Mike Beasley hooped, I mean, it was like, man, Lance couldn't do nothing with that boy, man. Like Beasley was, he was dogging him, bruh, for real. Like, I think Lance got one nutmeg that he did on Beasley. He got one good ass move that he got on the nutmeg, and then he reversed it. That was about all she wrote. Cause after that, Beasley, and he had no emotion. Like, it was crazy because you could tell, and I think it was because Lance was just talking so crazy and the antics was so crazy before the game that Beasley just came in there with the attitude of like, man, I'm just about to work this boy and I'm about to get up out of here and collect this 100 racks. You know what I'm saying? Man, Beasley, like the moves he was doing, like out of the triple threat and like just, you know what I mean? The way that he was putting that work in, man, it was crazy. But then that game got me hyped, to see like some more one-on-ones. And we seeing like, I think Beasley challenged Carmelo Anthony to a one-on-one game, which, Melo, kind of laughed it off or whatever. Like, I don't know. I think Melo chilling like since he retired. So like, I kind of don't see Melo unless like enough people just challenge him and go at him or whatever. Like, and then he like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, let me get back in the lab. Let me get in shape. Let me, you know what I mean? I don't really see Melo as being somebody that's going, really partake in these one-on-ones. But I love to see it, straight up. I seen Beasley also talking to ISO Joe, which I'm gonna be real. Like, I would love to see that game, but like I really don't see like too many people messing with Joe Johnson when it come to one-on-one. Like ISO Joe, I mean, his name ISO for a reason. Like he's a player that's truly built for, one-on-one competition. So I would love to see that, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But a one-on-one that I would love to see, I would love to see ISO Joe against Jamal Crawford. I think that would be like such a good matchup, such a good game. You know what I mean? Jamal Crawford, one of them players who, I feel like in the league during the time that he was in, like coaches might have frowned upon like how bro played. And I think that's why he was always like a six man and never really a starter, because him like just pulling up three, like coming over half court and just pulling up threes and like really doing like ISO work. I think that like coaches back then didn't respect it, but like we look at the NBA right now, that's how everybody play. Like I be getting tired of seeing it like that, like where a cat to come across half court, it won't be nobody from his team close to the court to even consider getting a rebound. And a cat to just jack up a three like it ain't nothing. And that's the normal NBA now. So I think, man, Jamal Crawford in like this version of the NBA would go crazy. But this makes me think too, Tracy McGrady been talking a couple of years about making a one-on-one league. I hope that he's able to get his one-on-one league off, because now that all of these players are starting to do their own like one-on-ones and getting sponsors to put up bread and all of that. I hope that T-Mac League is one that, similar to like the Big Three and what Ice Cube doing with that. I hope that T-Mac's one-on-one league actually is something that really happens, because he's a cat that's been like advocating for one-on-one for a couple of years. Like T-Mac, I think we all know, like, he one of them players that if he wouldn't have got injured, I honestly think T-Mac would have been one of them players that we probably would have had to have been comparing to Kobe in terms of like, all right, like it's Mike, but then it's Kobe, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I really think T-Mac would have been up there in that conversation of Mike, Kobe, LeBron. You know what I mean? I think if he wouldn't have got injured, he would have been up there. Now, I just saw Lou Will on the Gilbert Arenas show on Gil's Arena. He just put some work in on Brandon Jennings, who, BJ, Brandon Jennings, he a dope player too. I mean, his career got cut short from injuries or whatever. I think he had gotten like a bad knee injury or whatever, but he's a cat who I think that like if he would have had more years in the league, like he would have been revered as one of the, dopest guards in the league. Now, it's a couple of one-on-one matches that I really would love to see, and some of these is like players that's in their prime versus players now. Some of them is like fantasy, type of one-on-ones that we just never got to see because they ain't play at the same time. But I would have loved to see Shaq versus Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would have been a crazy game. A lot of the OG players, will say that Shaq couldn't stand in the same, arena, same stadium, as Wilt. And I mean, shit, from seeing like any kind of video, if you've ever seen a Wilt, like he was so unstoppable in his day. Now, he was a lot smaller than Shaq. So, of course, that, would play a big factor. But Wilt was hella strong, and Wilt had that grown man strength. So I think that a matchup with them two, would have been crazy. I would have loved to see a one-on-one versus Jordan and Pippen. I'm one of the few people that think that Pippen was just as good as Jordan. Like, now I know a lot of people in this room probably frowning up or probably looking at me crazy. And I know y'all watching this video probably looking at me crazy. Like, man, Spitty, what the hell you talking about? But look, man, Pippen never made it to a finals without Jordan. Jordan never made it to a finals without Pippen. Now, that's something that we'll never know. I know that everybody try to say, well, Pippen had, that year when Jordan left and wasn't able to, take the team to the playoffs or whatever. But what I'll say is Pippen did come into the running of the MVP that year when he didn't have Jordan. Like, he almost got MVP. Like, he was one of the most dominant players in the NBA that year. So, like, you can't just turn your nose up at Pippen and, only, I know we got a million Michael Jordan stands and everybody, Jordan couldn't do no wrong and, all of that. But, I honestly think, I'm going to keep it real. I personally think Pippen would have beat Jordan in a one-on-one. Just because of the long arms. Like, I think that, when Jay would have like went up for a jumper or even tried to do his fadeaway, I think Pippen would have been able to like get his arm up and get a couple of blocks on him. I also think that if Jay would have, got past Pippen and got to the rim, I think Pippen could have caught up to him and got some blocks on him. So I'ma just, straight up say that. Y'all can think I'm crazy, what I'm saying? It's all good. Another matchup I would love to see would be KD versus Victor Wembanyama. Like, I think KD versus Wemby, I think that would be a crazy matchup. You got the Slim Reaper versus, I don't even know Wemby's nickname, but shit, he's so damn tall and play like a guard too. You know what I mean? I think that type of matchup, would have been crazy. I would like to see, and I'm sure these dudes then had hella one-on-ones against each other, like all the different brothers that played in the league. So I would love to see Lonzo Ball without the injuries versus LaMelo Ball. Like I would just love to see, you know, them two dudes go against each other. I mean, LaMelo is like a whole nother level, and I think in most cases, the little brother normally comes out or ends up being better, you know, than the older brother. Just like how I feel is gonna be the case with LeBron's sons. Like
Yeah.
I feel like Bryson James is gonna end up being the superstar of those two brothers. You know what I'm saying? And like when he had that growth spurt and like put some weight on him, like it definitely solidified it for me where I was like, yo, little bro gone. I think he gonna kill it. I think he gonna be the superstar of those two brothers. But I would also like to see Giannis versus a prime Kevin Garnett. I think that matchup would be a crazy matchup, just because both of those players, you know, play kind of similar, and KG play with so much tenacity. You know what I mean? Like his game is just, you know, like he's so aggressive with it, and you know what I mean? Like he don't play, like you know, he a real big dog. You know what I'm saying? In this shit. Shout out to Glenn Robinson, but I think KG versus Giannis will be a dope matchup. And KG was one of the early, you know, big men who, you know, had like the strong, you know, game in the middle, but then also could like hit fadeaways, could, you know what I mean, like on either side of the free throw line, like could, you know what I mean, shoot that jumper, you know what I mean, like had that short mid range game also. So I think that would be, you know, another dope matchup. I would also like to see. I mean, this probably ain't gonna be the most popular, but like Mark Gasol versus Pau Gasol. Like I
Hmm.
wonder, like who, you know what I'm saying, who was winning those matchups, bruh?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure they used to have hella matchups, you know what I'm saying, like in the garage, you know, in the garage or whatever, you know what I mean? Like outside behind the house or whatever. Like who would, you know what I mean? Like who was winning those types of matchups? You know what I mean? Another dope matchup I would love to see would be and I think still even like current this could happen would be Kyrie versus Steph. I would love to see those two dudes with their games. You know what I mean? Because Kyrie got a crazy three. I think Kyrie has the best handle in the NBA. But then I think Steph probably has the second best handle in the NBA. And then we know that dude's splashing from the moon. So, you know what I mean? I think a game between Kyrie and Steph would be crazy. But yo, who do y'all like in the comments? Let me know who y'all think some of the dopest one-on-one matchups would be, and you know, like who y'all think would who y'all think would you know who would y'all pay to see, you know, one-on-one? Let me know.